We're going live. Boom, boom. Welcome to another Zen Rose Garden Pro Tip series. Coming up in this video, empathic mirroring, how to develop your empathic ability, empathic gifts, and empathic accuracy.
Oh, goodness.
Do you feel like a damaged empath? Would you like to control, strengthen, train, and use your empathic abilities in a way that alleviates empathic burnout? Then you want to check out this video where we go into the brain science of empathy.
This is part of our Empath playlist, How to Be a Better Empath. You can find the full playlist link down below. In order to find your tribe, you have to stop following the herd, start thinking for yourself, and looking deeper to crack that code.
Boom diggy.
Well, that's going to be entertaining with some free juicy information. We do have an offer at the end to take your metaphysical business from basic to bodacious. If you are watching live, give us a hashtag LiveTribe.
And if you're watching on the replay, hashtag replay fam. So if you are just getting to know us,
I'm Heather.
And I'm David.
From ZenRoseGarden.com.
If you are new and you want real tips without unicorn poop, consider subscribing right over there. Spank that bell right down there and you will be good to go. All right, so this is the fourth and the meatiest video in this series on the gift of empathy.
Number 4 of 6. So we decided to do this series for our hashtag YouTube fam because even though we get so many questions about how it can get out of control, we sometimes forget that the gift of empathy is part of what makes us beautifully human.
Absolutely. Right? And today we're going to talk about the science behind empathic mirroring and the gift of empathy.
So we have been talking about the gift of empathy in the last few videos and how getting caught in emotional empathy and somatic empathy
for too long
can cause intense emotional distress and take us right back to a primal reaction where we're less able to cope with life.
Yes, you can't life when you're responding from a primal place in your brain. So you know how you're out in public and someone is having an emotional reaction and suddenly you might be having the same emotional reaction?
So the spiritual community, there's the sciencey community and the spiritual community, but the spiritual community tends to always chalk it up to one simple explanation. The person is just an empath.
And honestly, the business side of the spiritual community can often revolve around people stuck in emotional empathy.
Right, like buy crystals, buy oils,
what have you, and all of the problems are going to go away.
Not that these won't help, but those things often just help the symptoms.
There is no doubt that they can help calm reactions so that you can work out root issues.
But unfortunately, often distressed, kind of damaged empaths, because you've been in this fight or flight for so long, stop there, and sometimes they're only given kind of more
superstition,
more woojy solutions that don't get total relief that can help for a while.
And now that we've totally flipped the pancake over, we want to know, what kinds of things have you done in the past to calm yourself down? Crystals, oils, blood sacrifice. What have you done to calm yourself?
Blood sacrifice?
No, don't do it.
No, hurting puppies.
So now it's time. Now it's time for the good stuff. Booga, booga, booga. Now it's time for the good stuff. Booga, booga, booga. Boom, 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 boom.
So here we go. So number 1, the search for the empathy neuron. Okay.
Boom.
So for years, psychologists, neuroscientists, philosophers have been trying to figure out why humans seem to be born with this instinctive, immediate gut reaction to other people's thoughts, feelings, and intentions, right?
Absolutely.
What we kind of call the gift of empathy.
So in the 1990s, neuroscientist Rizzolatti first identified mirror neurons. These neurons help explain how and why we read other people's minds and feel empathy for them.
So here is how they basically work, okay? Because I say basically because as more research unfolds, the functions of these mirror neurons seem to get more and more complex, which is cool because we're getting to the bottom of what exactly is firing in your head and what neurons you're engaging when you're doing the psychic stuff.
Right. So if you are watching someone perform an action or feel a feeling, specialized mirror neurons activate in your brain and then identify with the action or the emotion and stimulate a physical response to mirror that action or the emotions of the other person.
And this is kind of a cool thing. It's like you know, when you see people dancing and suddenly you feel like dancing, or you kind of automatically move to the music kind of thing. Like it doesn't take much for David, right? Remember the baby example from, I think, a couple of videos ago, where a baby will smile in response to the mother's smile. Those are all because of mirror neurons. And really, it's a really recently discovered neuron, the 1990s.
But we've been using it forever.
Of course, because, you know, as soon as we became...
Because bonding.
Yeah, bonding.
Anyway, you watch a sad movie with sad people and you feel sad and you cry.
So mirror neurons are responsible.
More recently, they are finding evidence that strongly leads towards the possibility that mirror neurons not only respond to other people's actions and emotions, but also to the intent behind the actions.
Tip number 2 is what the mirror neuron system does. That's really hard to say.
Yes.
So mirror neurons explain in parts how humans survive and thrive in kind of a complex social world. Because first and foremost, they're kind of to help us develop social skills.
And to bond, right?
To bond.
So mirror neurons are involuntary, automatic neural mechanisms. We don't have to think about them. We just know what other people are doing or feeling.
So what is really great about the discovery of mirror neurons is that we have to say that slowly to get it out.
Her.
So me. What is cool is that we are gaining new insight into how and why we develop empathy for others, as well as more about autism. They're learning more about schizophrenia, other brain disorders that might be characterized by poor social interaction.
Right. And that includes the social anxiety experienced by the overactive empath and the locked down agoraphobe,
which is someone that's afraid to be out in public. So according to what's called simulation theory, simulation theory kind of emerged decades ago, and it was before the discovery of mirror neurons. But simulation theory basically says that we subconsciously empathize with the person that we are observing.
Imagine what we would desire and believe in that scenario and then adopt it.
So this has been a theory in psychology for a long time. So basically it's that the brain assesses and produces a response in the body and the mind in less than a second. So now the discovery of mirror neurons are kind of proving simulation theory. So mirror neurons are now thought to be the mechanisms by which we simulate others in order to better understand them.
So mimicry, for example, is a way to bond with other people where you do the same actions as other people, or you look in the same direction, you tilt your head in the same way, and that's activating that part in the brain that wants to bond.
Well, so, and it, like I said, this is basically what they do, but they are much more complex because the people that are researching them, of which there are many, are like, okay, what about this? And what if they do this? And what about this and this and this? So it's kind of opening up this really cool doorway into understanding how the ununderstandable functions of psychic information work. So to summarize it, here's what they do know now. Mirror neurons help us to be better humans, basically.
By helping us to understand another's intentions.
They give us hood sense, right? They help make learning easy and fast.
Because language development.
Because the mirror neurons, like kind of when you're in class, you're like seeing.
Learning through mimicry.
So empathy is a big one. Human self-awareness and social awareness.
So these are things that help us to evolve as a social culture and as individuals.
So that's kind of a rundown of what mirror neurons do in general. We'll get into some more in just
Say that
a
again
second.
like 500
mirror
times.
neurons.
Not right now. Anyway, we want to know, how is your geek meter right now? Let's use that brain of yours.
It is poll time right now because
Yes.
I need a short break from saying mirror neurons.
Yes.
Let's see what you guys think. Can mirror neurons explain telepathy? Because that's the answer. That is the question that
a lot of you guys are looking for.
Well, it's a question that a lot of the researchers are asking right now. The researchers are asking right now.
Lena
yes or
says,
no?
okay, smacked. Awesome. Smack that like button. Awesome. Awesome.
So can mirror neurons explain telepathy? Yes
Let
or
us know. Yes, no. Or if you're feeling sassy, why?
Yeah.
Okay.
Throw
so
your,
yes or no, and why if you're feeling sassy.
Throw your best theory out there.
Boom, diggy. All right.
Let's get into a little bit more of this.
While you guys do that in the comments, we're going to move forward to tip number 3, non-social cognition and emotional intelligence. I want to clarify non-social cognition. So social means that you're around people. You get to see people, you get to experience as a social interaction. Non-social is with that part removed.
Okay, so the first studies from the 90s until about 2015, around there, we're focusing on the mirror neurons in a social situation.
Right.
Like when that means you can see the person on video, you're in the physical presence of the person,
right.
That kind of thing. And they're like, well, what about non-social interaction? How
right.
can we explain the cognition that happens with people when they're not in the presence of someone? As we know, psychic information and that intuition
isn't limited by distance or time or anything like that. So now we're starting to get into the psychic potential of mirror neurons.
And this is really exciting,
right.
Because mirror neurons are obviously critical for social interactions. Otherwise, we would just be totally awkward,
right.
But don't yet explain non-social cognition.
But we are on our way.
So in 2015, a study that they did, researchers identified neurons in the anterior cingulate cortex. Remember, we talked about that in the Third Eye series.
Right. Go watch that one.
And those neurons that they discovered in the ACC selectively predict the unknown decisions or hidden states of mind of another person.
These other predictive neurons are unique to social situations and may complement mirror neurons by giving additional information about things that are not known or observable with the obvious senses.
So when they discovered these, they're like, oh, these kind of like they're friends and they work in a really cool way in the brain. So since research on this is still ongoing, it's going to be fun to see when they pin down the specific neuron that fires when someone picks up cognition that is totally non-social, right?
As in not in a visual presence with people. So it's not on video and there aren't people in the same room, okay? So in conclusion, does all this mean that you are helpless against your involuntary, automatic mirror neuron system response?
Okay, and this is the part we want to get to because we want to know people that are naturally empathic.
Right.
We've been talking about it for the last
super
few
empaths,
videos.
high empaths, right?
That are emotionally empathic and pick up on that first emotion or that somatic empathy that we've been talking about. Is there help, since it has been shown that it's probably like this really fast response that happens in less than a second. So recently, Christian Kaiser's at the Social Brain Lab studied self-proclaimed empaths of the New Age spiritual community variety, had them fill out a questionnaire and found them to have stronger activity in the known mirror neuron systems for physical and emotional responses.
Emotional and somatic empathy.
Right? Just what we've been talking about. So they did have a stronger response, but what was observed is that although the human mirror neuron system reacts automatically, it does not react passively, but
is influenced by the mindset of the observer.
So what he found was that, in other words, you can control overactive empathy with a conscious change in mindset about your empathic response.
For easy tips, go and watch the last video. That's in the link below in the playlist.
Right.
And we've got, Dude says, I think telepathy is more esoteric than just brain stuff. I'm right there with you. Ginger says, I think we mirror thoughts of others due to reception of their energy. Okay. definitely able to control it. The initial response, maybe not, but after that, yes. Yeah. And Lena says, holy crap, I need to watch the replay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's interesting though, Wild Magic with the telepathy is more esoteric than just brain stuff. And here's the thing that will always be a mystery is that the place it falls through in your brain, we can map, right? We're starting to be able to map these things, but what happens outside of that delivers it? That's that mystery, that esoteric part that I think we need.
It's definitely way more than just the brain.
Right.
Right.
So I like playing with both ends of it because I think if you lose the magic of like the esoteric part, you kind of lose the color.
Yeah, because if it's just the brain and it's just a function of mind by itself, then where's the magic? Which
is why we like the science of self-growth with the magic of mysticism.
Absolutely.
Because you got to keep the magic alive.
Just like you got to alive, just like this.
You got to keep the love alive too, right?
Have we cleared some mysteries or busted some myths?
And here's the thing. I think when you understand these little functions of the brain, it makes that magic so much easier to deliver because you realize, okay, my brain is actually helping with it.
And it makes all of this shit a hell of a lot easier.
And it is a revolution.
We are fighting back against lost fairies and unicorns running amok.
Again with the amok.
Causing chaos and wreaking havoc.
We do love them both. But sometimes they drink too much love and light and puke rainbow frosting all over the carpet. We do want to take a moment and shout out one of our Zen heads, Jay, shared her experience with us in Zen Ed Academy. And she says, I am a new member of Zen Ed Academy. Wanted to let you know how much I love it. I have tried 1 or 2 other membership groups, and they don't offer nearly as much as you get as an official Zen head.
Yep.
I've only been part of the group for a few weeks, but have already seen the benefits of the classes in my Reiki business. Thank you for providing this service for the spiritual community.
Awesome.
We're just trying to do it.
So, Jay, you are amazing, and I am excited to see where you take your life. This is just 2 weeks in. I'm super excited to see where you're going to go from here in the next 6 months. Now it's time. Now it's time for that offer to take your metaphysical business and your life from basic to bodacious. We are more than a pile of goo with synapses.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, synapses, whatever. And Tanya says, brain stuff is cool, but I think energy is involved in telepathy 100%.
Energy is involved with everything, right? Because we need energy for literally everything we do in life.
Yeah.
Everything.
So
yeah, it definitely that the energy, this thing, the synapses and the goo,
it's one piece.
Run without this is where it fires, but the energy has to come from somewhere first, right? So that is the fuel. It's not just the brain function because on its own, without life force running this, it's nothing. Nothing is happening.
It's not even living, right?
Right.
All right. So we want to know, is this right for you?
Are you tired of mediumship advice that is way too complicated?
Absolutely. Are you tired of people telling you, wait for it, join in, people telling you that the intuitive arts are satanic?
Are you tired of joining groups, thinking you'll be supported and then just left out in the cold?
That sucks, right? Are you ready for intuitive development without judgment?
Psychic and mediumship training that doesn't scare the crap out of you.
If so, Zen Ed Academy is the rebel base. Gotta love the rebel base, where the revolution begins.
Real information without all that unicorn poop. Wild Magic with the Juice says, we are energy. Yes, we are swirling masses of energy. We'll definitely be back to chop it up. And right now, probably we need lunch with our hashtag YouTube fam, faster than 2 shakes of a unicorn's tail after he's pooped rainbow frosting on your carpet.
All the info is down below. And if you like this video, smack that like button.
He's just going cray.
For more live hangouts, behind the scenes secrets, and mind hacking pro tips.
Be sure to subscribe.
And spank the bell. Subscribe over there, spank the bell down here. To turn notifications on.
I can't with you. So you will never have to remember
when we drop a new video
or go live.
And we know that time is a valuable and precious resource. And the fact that you guys have chosen to spend that with us, being all silly and crazy, but most importantly, leveling up your skills, taking your life and your business to an entirely new level, taking your brain to a new level. We appreciate that even more. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in the next video over here or over here.
We'll see you in the next video. Mwah.